May I offer my thanks to everyone who has taken part in the Save with Stories campaign, whether through providing a book, reading a story, or donating to the campaign. All funds raised are helping save the children to support families who have been hardest hit by the coronavirus crisis, and I thank you all for your contributions and support. As patron of Save the Children, I'm really pleased to be reading to you today the final book in the campaign, Thomas and the Royal Engine, which was created by the Reverend Awdry. Thomas and the Royal Engine. Sadly, you'll miss the pictures. It is a very colourful book, but I will just introduce you to Thomas, who's here. Thomas the Tank Engine. Right. This is a story about Thomas and the day he had to take the Fat Controller on a very special journey. Hope you're sitting comfortably. It was a sunny morning on Sodor. Thomas the Tank Engine was getting ready for a very important job. He was taking the Fat Controller to London to meet the Queen. Thomas's cab had been swept clean, his firebox was full of coal, and he had been scrubbed until he was the shiniest engine on Sodor. Beep beep! Thomas whooshed proudly down the track to pick up the Fat Controller. Next stop, London. Clickety-clack, clickety-clack. Are you sure this is the way to London, Thomas? The Fat Controller called out of the window. I think so, said Thomas. He couldn't quite remember. The track quickly became dark and overgrown. Branches scratched at Thomas's paintwork. Maybe I should have taken the other line, thought Thomas. He puffed and chuffed as fast as he could go. Broken branches fell all over poor Thomas. Then he spotted the main line ahead. They were back on track. Further down the line, a big tender engine was steaming up behind Thomas. The engine didn't see the muddy puddle on the tracks ahead. She was chuffing faster and faster and faster. She wasn't going to slow down. Splash! Muddy water splashed all over Thomas and the Fat Controller. Thomas stopped at the next station. Go and find a washdown, Thomas, said the Fat Controller. Hurry! Somebody else was looking for the washdown that day. It was the big tender engine. She was in such a hurry she shunted Thomas into some coal trucks. Poof! Black dust covered Thomas from funnel to footplate. Sorry, said the engine. My name is Duchess of Loughborough. Mine is Thomas of Sodor, giggled Thomas. Oh, there's so much to do, gasped Duchess, and I have to pick up some very important passengers. Thomas kindly let Duchess get cleaned up first, but the workers used all of the water in the tank. There was no water to clean Thomas. Thomas was dirtier than ever, and there was only 1 hour left to get to London. In a panic, the Fat Controller left the fireman behind at the station. Now there was nobody to shovel coal into Thomas's firebox. Thomas just couldn't pick up speed. Right, I'll be your fireman, the Fat Controller called out. You can't run a railway without getting your hands dirty. Whir, whir, whir. Thomas's wheels sped along the track. London, here we come, he sang out. Then up ahead, Thomas noticed somebody on the line. It was Duchess. My safety valve has burst, Thomas, said the Duchess. Now my very important passengers will be late to London. Thomas couldn't leave a friend in trouble, even if he was running late for the Queen. He offered to push Duchess and her carriages all the way to London. He heaved and pushed and puffed with all his might. Thank you, Thomas of Sodor, called out Duchess. When Thomas pulled into Victoria Station, he was tired and dirty. but he had made it to London on time. The Fat Controller was busy looking at something on the platform. There was a royal crown on Duchess's buffer, and somebody very important was stepping out of her carriages. The Queen. Thomas had rescued the royal train. "Sir Topham Hatt," smiled the Queen, "your railway is known for helping those in need." "They made sure we got here on time, ma'am," Duchess told the Queen. The Queen handed the Fat Controller a very special railway award. "Oh, thank you, Your Majesty," said the Fat Controller. The Queen turned to Thomas and gave him a colourful medal. "And gallant Thomas," said the Queen, "this is for helping an engine in need and for being a royally useful engine." Thomas beamed from boiler to buffer. He may not have been the shiniest engine on the tracks that day, but he was certainly the most useful. It has been my pleasure to read this book to you today, one I enjoyed when I was young. And I hope you've enjoyed listening to all of the stories that have been read and continue to give generously to save the children. Bearing in mind that in my travels, I think I've discovered that there are many more similarities than dissimilarities, particularly amongst the things that children enjoy. And storytelling is very high on that list, which all children enjoy. Your support allows us to help children and their families affected by the coronavirus outbreak and is most appreciated. That will be linked to problems they already have, and we need to be there to help them deal with that as well. Thank you.